you know goldenrod makes an excellent tea?
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Aaron.
Me. You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tomic's veteran of the comic book industry for 30 years. I'm a writer, I'm an artist, and this sucks.
Tonight's episode, The Eyes of Terror.
Don't start! We haven't left yet!
Hey everybody, it is Aaron Live. It is January 22nd, 2023. Shelley may be missing in action today, so I apologize. You may just get stuck with me. We'll see if she's late arrival or not. But either way, man, we have a packed show. Just tons of stuff to look at, and we'll go through it in an efficient fashion. I'm not going to drag it out too long, but I want to create a little bit of suspense. So anyway, welcome everybody. Woo! All right, man. What a week. I've been working. I've got stuff done this week. We'll share a little bit of it, not all of it, but we'll share some of it. But first, let's take a look and see who has joined us on this fine day. H's for Heretic is the first one showing in the chat, although I know for a fact that he was not the first one in the door. I know Stippling Vaughn was in there and someone else, I think, before him, but I can't remember. Old age. But H's for Heretic gets read first because he's at the top of the line. Aaron and Shelley Sundays, Graybeard Studios on Wednesdays. This Saturday, Comic Art Convo discussing favorite Star Trek episodes. This is the place to be. And indeed it is. For your YouTube programming, does it get any better than this? Probably, but let's not tell anybody. Daniel Russell is here. Dan, the Pizza Man Genovese, is here. Hurin, the Steadfast, is here. Agent Zero Studios, of course. Mr. Monkey, 1969. Grey Wolf Graphics. Randy Howell, all the way from Canada, has joined us. Citizen Ronan is here. Geek Avenger letting you know how it is. Hit the like and subscribe for Mr. Lepresti. Please, folks, do it for the love of Aaron. And if you don't have any love for me, do it just for pity. I'll take that as well. Angela Curry is here. Thank you. Appreciate the kind greetings. Kevin Thomas is here. Let's see here now. Squeaky, of course, she's teamed up with Geek Avenger. Geek Avenger. She's here as well. David G making an appearance. There he is. Tarks9, all the way from Canada, has joined us. Just an attempt to say this. Fotrius Pyrelis. Man, remember when Disney made good movies like Toy Story? Yeah, it was a while ago. Nornrad 2 Turbo is here. Nornrad was in he was in the doghouse. Someone accidentally blocked him, and he was like in the block box. But I let him out. I freed him. So and I did let you know that, didn't I? He said, Aaron, please set me free. And I said, okay, I did. I did. I set you free. Past Master Dan is here wishing Okay. There seems to be a recurring problem, a little bit of a misunderstanding here. Let me help clear it up. It's not, my birthday is not every day. Gee, Merry Christmas. Mighty Joe is here now in stereo. How about that? Are we? Oh, it's like we entered the 21st century or something. Hey, Tarks9 saying this is his favorite show of the week. I appreciate that. Point Blank is here. Christina Lynn, of course, is here. She's our resident freelance editor, proofreader that's worked on Wraith of God and will be again. 80s Made Consumer is here. He was on his show last night to wish Abra 2 cents happy birthday. She didn't tell anybody. Well, actually, she said it was her second 21st birthday. So we're going to take her on her word for that. JW says, what's up, Mr. Lopresti? Working on Garbage Man, Wraith of God team up fan art. Excellent. Quick question. What's the name of Kit Carter's monkey sidekick? It is Merv, the Astro Chimp. That's who you're asking about. Let's see. Corey Landis is here. He says, I'm here, you're here, get used to it. Well, I will. I like getting used to it. Holy Hand Grenades is here. Matt Dubez. Look at that. Finally get to catch an Aaron live stream. Well, thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. Jackie Daytona is here with a big whoa. All right. John Porton, past master. Oh, we already know past master Dan's here. I just blew him up. 10-8 Comics and Jim is here. Let This Be Your Last Battlefield is the best. I strongly disagree with you, Photirius. Let's see here. Space Seed is good. Everybody see now people are talking about their favorite StarCraft episodes. That won't be until this coming Saturday, so 6 days from now. But indeed, there will be conversation to be had about that. Mike McMahon is here. Zaid Comics, of course, Phil Diaz, who we based our Merv the Astro Chimp card on. Not really. Let's see here. Marcus Killigrew's here. Boy, we got a lot of people chiming in the old chat. Andrew Aguirre. I will not be going to Tampa Bay Con. I will be in Southern California in a couple of weeks at an Orange County Con. I can't remember the name of it. There's Abra. Happy birthday, Abra. Hail, Aaron. Hail, Abra. Thanks. Great to see you. Thank you. It's good to hear from you. I don't see you. Andrew Aguirre, by the way, awesome undercover thing. Thank you. He's talking about some of the art I posted recently. All right. Let's get rolling. The show is full of good content, or at least it's full of content, or it's full of, well, but let's do this first. Do you know what? I forgot the Frankenstein. Hang on. There he is. Hey, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notifications button. If you would be so kind, helps the channel grow, helps me to continue to spend hours every Friday and Saturday prepping for the show simply for your benefit. At least I hope it is. I hope I'm not harming anyone with the making of this show or the broadcasting of it. I know I'm not harming anybody making it, but so anyway, we did the public service. One thing we like to do on the show is eat just a little bit, not enough to be gross like Shane Davis eating out of a SpaghettiOs can or whatever that was. Anyway, we try to do a little bit more clean eating, and we've had to change our pace around here. I'll tell you why in just a second.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Shelley's not here to say something inappropriate, so I won't hit the language alert, but I will say I'm eating this delicious Tillamook cheese. Now, some of you may be able to get this across the country. It's made right here in Oregon, and it's one of the few good things I like to say about living in Oregon, but they do have some of the best cheese in the United States. And why am I eating cheese? Because I'm on a diet. I'm not like grossly overweight, but I got a little bit of a gut going on here, and it's something I've never really had, and I'm like, we got to kick it. We got to nip this in the bud before it gets out of control. And I look like one of those pregnant men. So I'm doing the protein thing, right? Protein and fat, which doesn't sound like it would be good for you, but Graham Nolan keeps telling me, yes, it's the way to go. So cut out the carbs, cut out the sugars. I'm telling you, it's been like 4 days since I've had any sugar. And I am just like, I'm like a werewolf. I have to lock myself in at night so I don't run out the front door, get in the car, and go grab a donut someplace or something. It's horrible. So it's actually pretty good though. It's delicious cheese, but gee, many Christmas. If this was a piece of chocolate, I'd be much happier, but we do what we can, right? It's all about getting to your next birthday, right, Abra? She knows. Keto, I know it works. Shelley's done it before. I've done it before. One of the things I did, I don't know, God, how long ago was it? I think Josh was still in high school, so that'd have been like 10 years ago. Shelley was doing Weight Watchers, and she said, will you do it with me? And I'm like, yeah, I don't really need to lose that much weight, but sure, I'll do it. So I go in there and say, I'd like to lose 15 pounds. They go, you got to lose at least 20 or there's no point in you doing the program. So I said, all right, I'll do 20. And I started getting into it. It was competitive. And it was like all these women and me. And so I was like really, really focused. And I was, doing the little point thing that Weight Watchers has. And I was going in there and I was losing weight. And the women were getting pissed at me. And I ended up losing the 20 pounds, right? And I felt great because I was coaching my son's basketball team at that time. And so I would go out there and run with them. And I was like, holy crap, it's like someone took a barbell off my weight. I'm 20 pounds lighter. I just felt like I was floating. And I actually, for losing the 20 pounds, I got this little badge. Like, they give you like a little thing at Weight Watchers. And like you could actually, opportunity to teach a class in weight loss, and I was just like, I just kept telling everybody in the class, I said, hey, look, 6 months is going to go by whether you like it or not. It's going to go by. So you might as well commit to this and do it right and get through that 6 months or 3 months or whatever and lose the weight. So let's do it. Nobody ever did except me. Shelley did okay, but she was pissed at me too. What can I say? But I've lost my edge a little bit. I'm not quite as, I sit there and I think, why am I doing this? And I look down the gut and I go, I remember when I used to have hair and was good looking. What the heck is going on down here? And then it gets me motivated for a while. And then I kind of, look at that donut. It's just, the older you get, the tougher it gets. But I'm trying. I'm going to do it. Get back down to where I'm supposed to be. Then I'll start eating sugar again and gain the weight right back. That's true. She couldn't believe how much energy she had. And it's true. You get the energy. When you lose that weight, you have more energy. But I was weaker. I will say that. I lost muscle mass, which made me kind of like, wasn't so great. And I thought, okay, if I do the keto thing, or I'm just pounding like cheese and meat and eggs all the time, surely I won't lose the strength. So I know working out is kind of important along with it, which I haven't been a real freak about working out for a while, but need to get back into that. So I started doing push-ups again. We shall see how it goes. Shelley's like, we need to go lift. I'm like, fine, let's do it. I'm not as motivated as I was when I was in my 20s, though. Cheese down the tube. All right. People like keto yogurt. I believe that, Mad Socks. Paul, our resident biologist, is that Paul, our resident biologist? I don't know. Changed his picture. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I think it is. He says those donuts are bastards. And boy, is he correct. Hair is overrated. Askiel Brenner. Yeah. Well, let's see here. Stippling Vaughn. I prefer to think of myself as Mike Myers' SNL skit, middle-aged man. Don't look at my gut. I'm working on it. Yeah. I've been working on it since I turned middle-aged. So, and by working on it, I don't mean like growing it, but that seems to be sort of part of the what I got going on here. All right. So I want to do something. I know that Geek Avenger is in the audience, and Squeaky is in the audience. Now, they sent me a gift. Now, one of the amazing thing, okay, about this whole YouTubing and independent comic thing and CG and all these different things is you make a lot of new friends. Some of them you get to meet, which I did happen to meet Geek Avenger and Squeaky at convention, Washington State SummerCon last year, probably. Was it last year? Was it the year before? I don't remember. Anyway, and great couple. And every once in a while, though, now I get people like send me gifts once in a while. And it was like, wow. So this is Past Master Dan's going to jump all over me for this. But this is a birthday gift. Apparently, I got it, but I've been saving it because I was going to open it on stream and I kept forgetting to. And now I'm going to do it. So maybe there's some truth to Past Master Dan accusing me of making every day my birthday. Isn't that something I used to say to my kids? Every day is Christmas to you, or every day is your birthday. All right, so he gave me this box, and there's stuff in here, but I don't know what it is. Let's find out. So many thanks to Geek Avenger, you guys. I appreciate it very much. I'm never one to turn down gifts, but I certainly don't expect them, and I'm just really touched when you guys do this stuff for me. And I really appreciate it. Art supplies. Okay, it looks like you hooked me up with some pens. See what I think, and I'm gonna have to use these on a stream or something. We'll see. But these are not Copics. Illustrator Spectrum Noir. They sound cool. So I've got like a 4 set here: black, brown gray, which I assume is like a warm gray, brown gray 6, and then a blender. So a couple of pens there. Just kind of try them out, see what I think, and I will. Thank you very much. Oh, another bag. Oh, look at these gift bags. Are you kidding me? I'm so excited. Look at this. I'm unhinged. Oh, no, they're hailing unhinged. Okay. Marcus Kilgore says he saw those at Hobby Lobby. Jackie Daytona says, the package smell like the crushiest of the crush. It smells fresh. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there's more of them. Oh, my good. Look, okay, now these I don't have because I use colored pencils a lot from like flesh tones and stuff, but look at this. They hooked me up with that's pretty much a flesh tone set with some browns in there. We're going to try these suckers out. Maybe on Wednesday's Graybeard's studio, I might give it a run. Wouldn't that be interesting? Maybe I'll do that. Dual tip markers. Look at that. Now, these have more of a brush tip or, well, a pointed tip. I don't know if you really call it a brush tip, but maybe you would, than the Copics do. So I could use them a little bit differently, more like maybe watercolors or something. So we have some warm grays. He's basically setting me up to do a commission. So... oh, look at these little gift things in there. Anyway, Geek Avenger and Squeaky, thank you guys so much. That was so kind of you. And we're going to use those, and we shall see what we shall see. Vic says, Past Master, next he's going to do an unboxing of a notebook and start drawing. What is this, Mr. Rogers or something? I never watched Mr. Rogers. The guy... I mean, I know they did the documentary on him and everything like that, and he was a super nice guy, and everybody loved him and all that kind of stuff. But when I was a kid, I don't know, I felt kind of, I don't want to say he creeped me out, but he kind of creeped me out. So I didn't really watch that show. Look at this. Paul, thank you so much. I wore your Empire Comics hat to a local con today representing. Thank you so much for that. In fact, let me give you a round of applause. Now, in case you're wondering what he's talking about, he's talking about these babies right here. Empire Comics stitched on logo hats. Aren't these cool? They're simple. They're not as kind of elaborate as some of Ethan's hats, but they're more of a simple, straightforward, but they're cheaper than Ethan's hats too, because I don't have as much stuff on them. But anyway, these are available right now in the campaign. What I found out was that for some reason, I was getting some of the orders were getting separated in the where it shows you your perks and the address and who ordered them. So I shipped out 14. What did I ship out? Well, anyway, I shipped out hats last week. I thought I had them all, but then I was like, well, wait a minute. My items report says there's 3 more hats than I shipped out, and I couldn't find the other 3 people, but I did today. So those have already been boxed up today, and they're going out tomorrow. So all the hats that have been ordered have been shipped. We've also got these Wraith of God beanies. These keep your head warm, especially if you have no hair like me. These are available on the campaign page as well. These ship immediately too. Now, I shipped out all the shot glasses, but I found out that I had more orders than I had shot glasses at the end of the day. So I had to reorder the shot glasses. They shipped out last week, which means I should be getting them maybe Monday. So there's still a couple people that their shot glass orders haven't been fulfilled. They're going out. If you haven't got your shot glass yet and you ordered one, you'll be getting it. It'll be shipping out this week. So all that stuff ships out immediately. And I want you to remember also that our t-shirts, I'll bring it up real quick since we're talking about it. T-shirts end at the end of this month. Okay. And Shelley's like, why are you ending it? And I said, well, because they've been out there for 4 or 5 months and I want to get them to the printers and back, and I want them shipped to you guys before the comic book's done. Okay. So let's take a look at this real quick, if I may, as I push buttons randomly, trying to make something magically appear. There it is. That's the Wraith of God Blood Hunters campaign. You'll find the link to the description of this campaign in the description of this video. What is this? This is the sequel to Wraith of God, which was our hit graphic novel that came out last year, did really well, and we sold out of it, which we're going to get to in a moment. But basically, it's kind of a Batman of the Old West, if you will. The Wraith has a partner named Esther, who's a former Salvation Army worker that he sort of manipulates, let's be honest, into being his teammate or helping him on his crusade against monsters. He believes he's on a mission from God, but is he really? And so last time he fought werewolves, this and unraveled the mystery of this town and the werewolves and everything that went on in the original graphic novel. This time he's in Tennessee hunting down a Nosferatu-like vampire who's got a few brides with him. So it gets a little challenging. So anyway, we have 4 cover options. Of course, that is the Simon Bisley exclusive painted cover. There's my wraparound. There's the Tales of Suspense homage cover featuring, well, all the books feature this, but they're sort of prominently showing the backup features in this book, which are Garbage Man and the Nightclub, and also now Kit Carter got added. So there's 3 backup stories, 3 complete backup stories. This book is over 100 pages, and for $25, it's a great value. And then, of course, the Tomb of Dracula tribute cover is also available. We got some colored pages here. We've got some Garbage Man pages here, colored by Dan Lawless there. Kit Carter, which I'll be coloring. I hope. I'm not the fastest colorist, but boy, am I good. Well, I'm good enough. Anyway, we've got the Garbage Man print that kind of goes hand in hand with the Wraith of God print from the last campaign. This is a thing I don't want you guys to miss. It's only $15. It's signed and numbered, limited edition. So I print up just a few over what are ordered, and that's it. And that becomes a signed and numbered limited edition. These are scans of my layouts for the book. So you can flip through this and take a look at how I laid a page out and what it actually looks like on the finished product. So that's really cool to be able to do if you're into that sort of, pulling the curtain back and kind of seeing how process is made. There's Merv the Astro Chimp trading card. Everybody gets one of those that signed up early. If you didn't sign up early, you can get one for $5. If not, if you signed up early, you get one for free. Okay, so let's get to the shirts. There's the Dale Keown Bloody Werewolf, colored by Gabe L.T. Abe, drawn by Dale Keown, of course. This has been super hot, as you can imagine. We have huge orders on this shirt. Garbage Man. This is a great shirt, really colorful. I really like the image. I, of course, pencil inked it and colored it. And then we have the original Wraith of God shirt, which was available on the first campaign, is now available again. But these shirts get shut down at the end of this month, and they're off to the printers. Okay, so get your orders in on these shirts before before February 1st. So January 31st will be the last day that you'll be able to place orders on this. I always order a few extras, but not a ton. It's hard to carry inventory on shirts because of the sizes. You just don't know what size people are going to order, so you don't know what size to carry. But I do have a few. I will have a few extras in there, but I'm not saying it's going to be a lot. So get those orders in early on that. And remember, we've got baseball caps Garbage Man trades are still available. Also, shot glasses, Wraith of God, and Garbage Man. Those are also available. So there's just lots of goodies on here, as well as the book and some different opportunities to get all the covers, one of the covers, whatever you want. We can work it out. So anyway, there is my sales pitch for the day. Thank you very much. Again, the link is in the description of this video. Hey, Leg Kick finally showed up. He is seeing something in my spinner rack that I'm going to talk about in just a second. Tarks is backing again on February 3rd. Got to get that Simon Bisley covering a shot glass and some more other stuff too. Thank you so much. A lot of you guys have backed this campaign multiple times, and I greatly appreciate you guys' support, because it's you guys that come in early that actually allow these things to get made. I know a lot of people come in late because they're like, I want to make sure the book gets done, and I get that. But you guys that trust me and come in early are the ones that are actually, allowing the wheels to get turning and actually get these books made. And I really, really appreciate it. And you're not going to be sorry. I was just drawing today. You can't see it over there because it's washed out. But Wraith fighting. We're on page 27, and he's fighting he just started the fight, which is a pretty long scene, actually. Well, it's an extended scene, we'll say, where he did kind of the showdown with the Nosferatu type vampire and Count Cordrath. That's Andy Smith's campaign, which you should check out on Indiegogo as well. But Count Korvac and his Brides of Terror. Let's see here. Stippling Vaughn, there he is. Let's see here. Darth Josh Aaron, do you still have a list of people who signed up early, but the link did not work for the SW? Yeah, I do. Actually, I send out. I'm probably going to send out another one. I send one out about once every couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe, to remind you guys that were early sign up people that and send you the secret link so you can actually order books and get the card for free. Those come through MailChimp. So keep your eyes open for those. A lot of people, I know that stuff comes through your mailbox and gets stuck in spam and you never see it. That's why I send it out every month or so, or every 3 weeks. So keep your eyes open for that, because I'll keep doing that so that you guys have a chance to get those books with the cards, because those are all secret tiers for those who didn't get it the first time around. Shadow Pawn. Eric Huffles, thank you so much. Vic throwing $2 my way. Thank you, Vic. Appreciate that. Very rare. Colored by Gabe, who is kicked from CG. Well, I don't know that he's been kicked, but he may be. I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure what is going on there. Let's see. Yeah, I was going to say as far as I know, no one's like said don't come around or anything like that. It's just, I mean, obviously there's some stuff going on and you guys are aware of it, and I'm not going to get into it here. But anyway, I did want to point out that, speaking of birthday gifts, Andy Smith sent me a couple books that I did for the spinner rack. Now, it seems like maybe I'm soliciting free comics from you guys to put in my spinner rack. I am. Send me your free comics and I'll put them in the spinner rack. They got to be oldies. They don't have to be in good condition, but if you want to get one in your spinner rack and mention your name on stream, I'll do it. But he sends me John Carter, Whirler of Mars #2, which is a series I actually collected and read when I was a kid. And I have them all in near mint condition in my collection. But this is so great because this is Gil Kane. All the interiors are Gil Kane inked by Rudy Nebres. And of course, Andy knows me pretty well, so he's like, he knew what to send me. Sequential Treasures sent me a bunch of old books too that are in here, like this All-Star Comics and things like that. Andy also sent me Heroes World catalog. I don't know, do you guys remember this at all? I don't remember this at all. But holy crap, there's like all sorts of just like superhero merchandise in here that you could order back in the day. It's a blast actually to look through to see all just the different stuff that's available on here, from like bedding to sleeping bags to pillowcases to toys. It's really actually a lot of fun thing to kind of peruse through, and you kind of wish I could order that stuff now. I did pick this up just because it's actually in pretty nice shape, but it's not really worth that much, so I can get another one anytime I want. But this has got this is a Buscema story, great Simonson cover, because this was during Simonson's run on Thor. the double-sized annual number 13, but it has some great John Buscema stuff with everybody's favorite devil, Mephisto. So it's just some really cool stuff. This is a very affordable book. If you guys are into art and checking stuff out, pick this up off eBay or something for, I don't know, $10 or less probably. And it's Ulik the Troll's in there. Look at that. So, oops, let's go right there. But it's kind of fun to have like old comics in the spinner rack. When that spinner rack, of course, was a Christmas present from Shelley and my son. So there you have it. World of Conan says Buscema is so good. Boy, isn't he ever. Jughead Grayson says, I remember Heroes World. Yeah, I didn't know they had a catalog though, man. That's cool stuff. All right. Now it's time, folks, to take a look at our rights and image of the day, which is kind of an unusual one. But we'll talk a little bit about after I show it. So here's your rights and image of the day. That was a pretty freaky illustration. That was 1972, right about the time he was doing, well, it would have been the time he was working on Swamp Thing. We had these things back in the day called fanzines, which were fans would put together little, sometimes they would Xerox copy them and staple them at the spine, which we call saddle stitching, and just on whatever paper they could find. And they did small print runs of these things, right? And they would sell them at cons or whatever. And they would oftentimes solicit artists, working artists in the industry, to do like stuff for them. And I don't think they got paid. Maybe some of them, like Rockets Blast, RBCC, made a little bit of money, but I can't imagine they made much. So that was, I'm pretty sure that was a fanzine illustration that Wrightson did. It was just some cowboy that had like a little mutant head grafted to his neck. And then there was another like younger cowboy dude, grafted to his thigh. And then there was a dead dude down at the bottom. So there's like this weird Western sci-fi combo thing. It was a really bizarre illustration, but in terms of subject matter, but again, really well done. Right in Wrightson's beginning of his sweet spot was 1972 to 1980. So that, but I'm not 100% sure it was a fanzine illustration, but I'm pretty sure it was. I just don't know which one. Vic, for another $2. Hey, I sent you $5 American super chat, Bubba. Well, to see, this is my strategy, dude, is I overlook previous super chats, and then you have to super chat me again to remind me that I didn't read your first one. So that's how I'm squeezing more money out of you, Vic. No, that's not true. Is it possible to digitize in really good detail for embroidery a Garbage Man cover? Imagine putting in the back of a denim jacket. I can do a super high res scan of, the original artwork or whatever. How that would, that's what okay, this is a logo, but right. This is embroidery, right? So I sent them the, so it gets a little rough around the edges, because it's being stitched in there, but it looks pretty good. And you see stuff like, Ethan's all caps comics hats, for example, have a stitched on thing with his little guy, his logo and stuff on it. So I assume it could be done and look pretty cool. Hit me up through email, if you want to give that a shot, and I'll send you a scan of something and see if it works. But thank you for the $5, Vic. I appreciate it. And thank you for the other $2 and the other $2. I'm running a scam here and I didn't even know it. Are you getting the rights in Swamp Thing Omnibus, Aaron? That's an excellent question, because it wouldn't be an omnibus just with rights, and it would probably have Nestor Redondo and other people in it, right? It's probably a Swamp Thing omnibus that has rights in it. I have like 4 collections of Wrightson's Swamp Thing back there. And I have one of, not Nebra's, I'm sorry. That other guy who did that stuff, Nestor Redondo, who took over and did some brilliant work after Wrightson on Swamp Thing. And I have a collection of his in there. So probably would not go and get the omnibus because those are the only 2 guys I'm really interested in. The stuff that Alan Moore did, although I know it's critically acclaimed and everything is brilliant, just, you know, by that time that ship had sailed and I was on to other things. So it wasn't anything that I really ever got attached to. Evil One, that sucks. You had to remind him, Vic. Yeah, I know. Terrible. But you guys can also, I mean, I do a pretty decent job reading the chat. If I skip a super chat, just go, hey, you skipped a super chat. Hey, you skipped a super, you know, and eventually I'll figure it out. So I apologize. But thank you for the extra $2. One Slick Dude said, knowing how much you like Wrightson, do you have a copy of House of Secrets 92? I do not. I did. I sold, when I was 19, I sold most of my collection, traded most of my collection for Spider-Man #2. And that was in that stuff. And I never replaced it because it got too expensive. So I used to have it. I do have a reprint of it, though. But yeah, that's... Yeah, see, Vic, I put you on there even when you don't pay me. Thank you. Dude, that would be so freaking bad as. Could you imagine Garbage Man, all those pretty colors? Yes. So seriously, email me at aaron@aaronlopresti.com. And if you really want to do it, I'll send you an image and we'll see if you can hook it up. Because that would be cool. Or you just ask me if I would do it. Because I would never do it. I gotta be able to sell more than one coat before I could do it. But if somebody wanted to do it on their own and just say, hey, I want to create a Garbage Man thing, then yeah. Aaron, have Shelley look into NADH. I don't know what that is, but I'll write it down. NADH. I will. Garbage Man will look cool on the back of a jacket. See, we got a lot of people saying that now. Let me tell you something. Shelley put out a thing on Twitter. And I know it's Twitter. She said, how many people would, because we had sold out of our beanies on the first campaign. And so like, should we go back and make some more beanies? So she said, did anybody not get a beanie? Who would be interested in a beanie? Who would buy a beanie if we went back to print on these? 80 people plus said, yeah, I would. 80 people did not order hats, not even close. So, you know, you can never tell for sure. Because something like that would probably be pretty expensive. Yes. Yep. It was in Savage Tales, I think, in the inside front cover. I don't know if I have that issue or not, but I have seen the picture and I probably should hunt it down. I'm not being great about getting all my stuff collected. I recently found some Buscema stuff that Neil Adams inked, like on a just random Conan issue, random Tarzan issue. It's like, I got to get those. What was this? Dad blasted and he wanted to see what the Frog G patch looked like. Put Frog G in the IG search bar on the whole page. Or frog related campaigns that never funded. Yeah, I know. A lot of us are shadow banned, man. It's really kind of ticking me off, but we're working around it right now and trying to figure out strategies going forward. Eric says, I don't buy beanies, only caps. Did I send you a cap? Did you order a cap? Because I sent them all out. So if you did, you must be getting one. You might even say Al caps. Wah, wah, wah. All right. It's time to move this show along, and I'm willing to do that. Let's look at some comic books. That intro needs to be longer, or I need to be faster. Let's switch over to the old Razor. Caillou, high grade, and let's see. We're still in the A's. Oh, great. Am I getting little bands of interference? What the heck is that? Are you kidding me? I guess you get what you pay for, right? If I have to get a new camera, I'm going to be pissed. All right. So I want to bring up just a couple of things here that are of interest. First of all, look at this. Now, this is Adventure Comics. Forgive the glare, but we've got plastic baggage on here. There we go. Okay. This is Adventure Comics number 431 in near mint condition, of course, because it's out of my collection. This has the great Jim Aparo. I want to say Mike Friedrich. Did Mike Friedrich write the story? Oh gosh, if it wasn't Friedrich, I could open it up, but I'm not going to because I don't want to get the tape stuck on it. Now I'm thinking it wasn't Friedrich. Gosh darn it. Anyway, if they were going to do a Spectre movie, they should do it based on this comic run. It was about 10 issues. I think it went to 431 through 440. It's all Jim Aparo art, great Jim Aparo art. And the story, Michael Fleischer wrote it. And it's basically, it's a Spectre. I mean, Jim Corrigan's the cop who becomes the Spectre. And the Spectre is unleashing vengeful justice on these bad guys, like melting their hands. I mean, he ends up killing them all, which, I mean, you don't expect that in a comic. I mean, it's kind of brutal, but I mean, for that, for 1972, 74, whatever this was, 74, I think. But anyway, check that series out. It's pretty cheap and tremendous apparel work in there. Also this, I often say that Fantastic Four 112 was my first comic, and it was along with this. I bought 2 comics on that trip when I was 6 years old. One was FF 112, which is The Thing versus Hulk, black cover, and this, which is Amazing Adventures number 8, fantastic Neil Adams cover with Black Bolt and Thor on the inside, and it was Neil Adams art. He did art on 5, 6, 7, and 8, so 4 issues of the Inhumans. And that's like some weird Black Panther story in it. And it was just, man, this was a heavy story for a 6-year-old to be reading. It kind of freaked me out. And the artwork was so realistic that I was like, I didn't like it. I read the FF story like 100 times, Thing versus Hulk, but this was a little over my head, but tremendous work by Adams. Check that out. Okay, now this is kind of important. This is the second appearance of Man-Thing. So this is Astonishing Tales 12, again in near mint condition, of course, probably 1972-ish. Man-Thing first appeared in Savage Tales #1, which is an expensive book. This actually went up considerably in price recently as well, but this is his second appearance is in this book. So of course I had to get it because I am a Man-Thing aficionado. And so anyway, that's a Buscema cover, Buscema story, Terror Stalks the Everglades. Of course, they're talking about the Man-Thing stalking the Everglades. Why is Kazar in the Everglades? I don't know. I have to go back and read it. And then finally, I'm going to throw this one at you, Astonishing Tales 21. Now, this is a reprint of the first appearance of Colossus, which takes us all the way back to Tales of Suspense number 14, which is like 1960. I actually have that comic. But this is a great Gil Kane cover. The cover's new. The interiors are reprint. But I do think after the reprint, I think there's new stories with Colossus in there. But anyway, actually, this may be new material. I take it back. New and sensational from the mind-shattering. Okay, so it's not a reprint. I take it back. Forgive me, I'm a liar. This appears to be new material with It, the Living Colossus. But tremendous Gil Kane cover, again, as usual. He always seemed to, more often than not, hit home runs than strikeouts. Look at that banding. Holy crap. That really ticks me off with this camera. Sorry. I'll work on it later. Anyway, there's there I am back. So anyway, there's some gems from my collection. We're still in the A's. Next week we'll do a few Avengers comics and Christian says, wasn't there an Inhumans TV show? Yeah, I guess it really sucked. It was filmed in Hawaii, though. I think we drove by some place where it was being filmed or something the one time Shelley and I were over there for a con. Beg everyone. Speaking of great books, I had my Thor 150 first Hella sent to CG a couple of months ago for a grade and it arrived last Friday with a 9. Holy crap, a 9.6? Whoa! Wow. I've got like a 9.0-ish, 9.2-ish of that, but 9.6, holy smokes. Ellie Munoz says, Buscema Avengers is my Avengers, and I agree, mine too. I bought some of the earlier Avengers, but I didn't really start collecting Avenger books until, let me rephrase that. As a collector, I didn't go back and get the Avengers issues until Buscema. What am I trying to say? I go back and collect the Buscema issues of Avengers. Those are my main focus. The Don Heck stuff, Don Heck was fine, but it was the Buscema stuff for me. Past Master Dan, of course, referring to the Inhumans TV show. Oh, look at that. Most of his books are Silver Age in that 4 to 6 range. So this one's rare, 9.6. Wow. You're breaking the mold. All right, I'm just going back to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I don't want to get in trouble again. Okay. All right, so okay, now the moment. Drum roll, please. Everybody wants to see, well, I'm assuming everybody wants to see. I've been working on a cover for the Wraith of God second printing. Now, how that's going to work is, I'm talking about the graphic novel, not Blood Hunters. The graphic novel sold out. Actually, truth be told, I think there's 3 copies of the Esther cover left on the campaign. Or you can also contact me directly if you just want to get a copy of that. I got 3 of those left. So, but that's it. And so I'm doing a second printing of the Wraith of God so that people that didn't get it, and then when I go to cons and stuff, that I'll actually be able to have copies for people to get. Because it doesn't, I know Malin is a guy that sort of prints to order and that's it, because he loves the collectability aspect of it. And he wants you to be in there at the ground level, because if you're not, you're going to miss out. And that's just the way it goes. Tough luck. I take kind of a longer approach that you got to keep this stuff in print so you continue to grow your audience over time. If you don't have books for people that are interested, they're just going to walk away and go spend it on something else. So what the goal of the campaign will be is basically just to raise enough money to cover the printing costs. And it'll be run just like a regular campaign. The problem is, or not the problem, but it won't be in demand or anything like that. Once the 30 or 45 days, whatever is up, that baby's going to the printer because the book's ready to go. All right. All it's going to have on it is a new cover. And I'm going to correct a couple of errors in there that I found that slipped by all of us before. So I'll correct those, just a couple of minor things, and then it'll have a new cover. So, those of you guys that are completists, it gives you something, say, okay, I'll grab that too, because, I want the cover. And the thing with that is it's going to end up being probably a really low print run, between 500 and 1,000 copies, probably might be closer to 500. I don't know. We'll see how many orders come in for it. But anyway, the beauty of that is I had to do a new cover for it, and I did it, and it's inked, but not colored yet. But we'll take a quick preview. I'm flatting the colors right now of that. But first, $2 from Evil One. Thank you so much, Evil One. I appreciate that. Swamp Thing versus Man Thing versus Garbage Man. Who wins? Garbage Man wins, of course, because he's my creation. But Man Thing is my favorite. It's Wrightson's my favorite artist who drew Swamp Thing. So I don't think you can kill any of them, can you? Really? I mean, Garbage Man you can rip apart, but then if you just throw him in the dirt and whatever, he just gathers back up more stuff and reforms. So you can't really kill him. I don't think Man Thing can be killed. And we know Swamp Thing, he just kind of regenerates. And, I suppose if you killed him in the desert, they probably couldn't regenerate. Although Garbage Man could regenerate in the desert. I don't know about these other guys. But I'm going to take, Garbage Man has his senses about him. So does Alec Holland. Man Thing's dumb because he's a non-thinking. So he'd probably be at the disadvantage. That's a good question, though. You know what Walter Simonson once said when my son asked him who would win between Superman and Thor, and Walter said, quite wisely, depends on who's writing the story. And that's so true. Agent Zero Studios. Aaron, I know I want to see it. The intuition is killing me. Are you going to make me order a new copy of Wraith of God 1? Yeah, I am. That's kind of the whole goal, right? Once again, to trick you guys. No. Look, I understand collectors. I'm a collector myself. If you're a completist, you're a completist. But it's one of those things where you look at it and go, do I like the cover? I will say this. It may be the best Wraith of God cover I've done yet. So, and you'll get to be the judge of that because I'm going to show you right now. Well, after I click on a couple things, then I'm going to show. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to show you this first. I know I'm teasing. Okay, this is just for humorous content. So we got off 80s Consumer Made show last night, wishing Abra a happy birthday. And then Shelley's like, I'm going to bed. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And I had this, there was an open set of gray paper. And I went, oh, I didn't forget I had this gray tablet here. And then I thought, well, I'll just do a quick doodle and I'll go to bed. And I started doing this and I started coloring it. And then it was like, are you freaking kidding me? So I should have been in bed last night. Instead, I stayed up to draw this and then finish it for no reason. And so I posted on Twitter today. I was like, if you're staying up past your bedtime, working on something like this to finish something like this for no reason, you may have a problem. And I think I have a drawing problem. But anyway, so I drew this guy. No, that's not the cover, Judge Dredd. Jeez, are you kidding me? So anyway, that was for fun. And that's how I entertain myself sometimes. Okay, here it comes, guys. This is it. I think you'll like this. Again, this is the black and white. I have not colored it yet. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to press the button. I'm going to press the button. Okay, there it is. Boom. All right. So what I did with this was just, I said I'm going to ink this with a brush because I hadn't been inking with a brush for a while. And so I want to ink this with a brush with the exception of some minor line, like the cross hatching in Wraith of God's hat. That's pen. And some of the cross hatching in the shadows there is pen, and a little bit of that line work down in the bottom of the rocks below the gun is pen. But I would say 90% of this is brush inked. So let's go in here a little bit closer just so we can take a look at like this werewolf, for example. Yeah, so you can see all the little hairlines and all that. This crosshatch here, that's brush. But, sometimes you just do things because you're like, I want to make sure I still got it, that I can still pull this off. This right here was pen, though, admittedly. And this right here is pen. In the original sketch, I had Esther looking at the werewolf, not at Wraith, but I thought, no, we want to see her face. So I had her turning back at Wraith, kind of like, a little help. Now, he's clutching his chest, and we'll see this in coloring. That's going to be all covered in blood because he's already gone around with the werewolf, and he's reaching for his gun that we assume might have silver bullets in it. I'm tempted to put word balloons on this, like Marvel used to do. But you can see all the line work in here and different stuff. Okay, this bush, too, back here, this was pen. All this tree, that was all brush. She's all brush. He's all brush except for the cross hatching. But I still tried to keep it, as you can see, kind of rough, a little bit slicker than normal that I'm doing on the inside of the book, but still kind of rough to make sure it matches. So we'll zoom back out. So there it is. I'm really, really, really pleased with this. And I hope you guys like it as well. We'll stick the logo up here someplace. Number 1, Wraith of God logo will be up here. Our creator's name is probably right in here. Most of this rock down here is going to get cut off probably about right there when it gets trimmed. But Evil One likes the booty shot. World of Conan. Put word balloons. I probably shouldn't I? The shadow of that werewolf has a Kelly Jones look. You mean Kelly's ripping me off? Is that what you're saying? I'm joking. Kelly's a good guy, terrific artist. Norton Rad's breaking it all down for you. Peril, concern, danger, urgency, fantastic cover. The reason I went this direction, some of you saw the layouts, and I did a layout similar to this, and then a layout was just basically the Wraith up against the rocks and 2 werewolf hands in the foreground. That to me is kind of the iconic cover. But not something we haven't seen a dozen times before, right? This to me is a storytelling cover, which I find kind of more interesting. As long as there's big figures, strong composition, it doesn't get too busy and noisy so it gets lost in the newsstand, so to speak. You still want strong central images, which I've got with the werewolf there, which will be against the sky, and of course the wraith in the foreground, the sense of danger, peril. My feeling has always been now granted, these are direct mailing. You're not seeing this on the newsstand, but if you were, that was the idea, right? In the day was that I want you to pick this up and want to flip through the book. All right. And how do you do that? You do that by drawing somebody in with elements on the cover that tell you some of the story. And, Marvel was notorious for this back in the day, and maybe DC was as well. I didn't read as much DC as I did Marvel, but I'm talking about like the 70s and into the 80s, where you got a sense of something that was going on in the book, even though if it wasn't necessarily accurate to what was going on in the book. Usually your hero getting lit up by some villain. And you're like, as a kid, you'd go, oh my gosh, it's Dr. Spectrum's killing Iron Man. I got to get this issue, and it may not have gone down exactly like that in the book, but the idea is to get someone to pick up the book and want to read it. And so I think this kind of gives us this element of danger, as Norm pointed out. We're going to see that Wraith of God is bloody. So we know he's in danger. Things are not going well. How does this turn out? Is Esther going to pull the trigger? Does she have silver bullets in there? What if she doesn't? What if she's already shot him, and it's not working? These are the kind of things you kind of want to bring into it so that hopefully you can get someone's attention to pick that book up. And so that's kind of, again, being sort of old school, because what we see today is these iconic stand-up Wonder Woman posing covers, which the art looks fantastic, but it doesn't tell us anything about what's going on in the book. And I didn't want to do that. So that's why I opted for this one. Tarks 9, love your art style, Aaron. Definitely need this cover. I might do a black and white version of this and a color version, just to make it even more annoying to you guys, the buyers. Christina Lynn, thank you, Christine. Appreciate that. See, Jackie's all over me. What? No color yet? We'll get to that in a second. Joshua Lamb for $5. Thank you so much, Joshua. I appreciate that very much. The new cover is amazing. Awesome werewolf. Makes me want to buy another copy of Wraith of God. Is that weird? No, it's exactly what I want you to feel. Bretsky the Great. That is awesome. By the way, salute chat. Salute Aaron. Thank you. One Slick Dude. That's an awesome second print cover. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Glad you like it. Yeah, I wanted, Frazetta did this thing. If you check out, you can check it out online because it's probably too expensive to buy. I happen to have a copy of it. I believe it's Creepy number 2 or 3. Where he did a werewolf story. And he's got this kind of opening scene where the werewolf's mostly in shadow, you see his eyes, but you can't really see his face that much. And it was kind of menacing, so I kind of liked it. I know this is kind of, I don't know if cartoony, but it's kind of stylized in a sense. But I thought, it'd be kind of cool if we kind of made the werewolf a little bit mysterious on this one. Again, you don't want to repeat what you've already done, especially if you've done multiple covers like I have on the first Wraith of God. And I did all 3 of the covers. And then, of course, I had a 4th cover by Dale who did a werewolf cover, right? And so I don't want to repeat myself, right? I want to give you guys, that's a huge mistake. If you hire, people to do alternate covers for you and they look pretty much like the cover you did or that someone else did, then it's kind of like, you're not enticing your audience to want to get all of them. You're just saying, well, these all kind of look the same. I'll take that one. Well, you give them something different. And I know I'm talking directly to you guys because you are my audience. A lot of you guys are. But that's the idea, right? Give you a piece of artwork that you're like, I got to get that. And so you do something different than you did on your other books, so that at least you get the option that possibly someone's going to look at this and say, okay, I got to get that because that's my favorite cover now or whatever. Yeah, this poster potential, I think so. We might see this when I do the poster campaign because I'm going to do the Dale Keown werewolf blacklight poster. It's going to have the Bisley poster. It won't be blacklight, but it'll be a regular poster. There's going to be a Kit Carter insert movie poster. and those long, narrow ones that are 14 by 36, I believe. And then there'll be a smaller 11 by 17 print collection of all the covers without all the junk on them, unless the junk is necessary, like the I think the retro covers, they need the title logos on there to make them appealing. So, but anyway, yeah, that's kind of my plan on that. But we got to get through the second printing campaign first, get the shirts printed up and get those sent out, and then I'll jump in on that poster thing down the line here. Stippling Vaughn, he's pissed at me. Darn it, hate rebuying books, but I might this time. And he means, darn it, I'll rebuy it again when you do the black and white artist edition. The grift is strong on this one. I'm a terrible human being. Oh, there's Sequential Treasures, which reminds me, Comic Art Convo Saturday, 4 o'clock. We're doing Star Trek, the original series, favorite episodes, and our least favorite. It's going to be a good one. Don't miss it. It's kind of our birthday month because James had his birthday in January as well. And I did, obviously, because I keep talking about it, which Past Master Dan won't let me forget. So don't forget that. We'll remind you again at the end of the show. Mike McMahon likes it. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. It doesn't have to be exact, so long as it doesn't lie, says Julie. I don't know. There was a lot of covers in the 70s where the heroes were getting killed, and it didn't really happen in the book, but they did fight, you know, the bad guys. So that's kind of the idea. This is, I mean, it's quasi accurate to you know, some scenes from the book. So, you know, what if she shot Wraith and now she's going for the werewolf? Steal the glory. I get it. Norrin Rad really stands out against covers today. Thank you again so much. Marcus, Marvel 70s covers always said something was going to die. Absolutely. And obviously that's, you can see that's my influence, right? The Gil Kane sort of hero in peril. So it's fun. And we always fall back on our influences, right? Judge said I had picked that book up again for that cover. Thank you. Ralph Mack is in there. Hail, Aaron. Thank you. So this is the cover that we reprinted forever. No, I mean, when I'm going to print, let's hypothetically, let's say I get 500 orders for the reprint. Okay. I'll probably print 1,000, right? That gives me 500 extra. And you say, well, 500, that is a lot, especially inventory wise, stacking up in your house. 500, because they fit about 40 books in a box. So that's, what is that? That's 10, 12, 13 boxes of comics. It'll take a while to go through them, but you know, and at that point, when you actually do get through all those books, then maybe you're ready to do like a big trade omnibus thing that has, you know, and reprint everything. But I don't know. Well, I get the use out of the art as much as I can. That's for sure. I'm probably going to go Clear Sky. I don't know if I'm going to go. I don't add a lot of extras. A lot of colorists go in there and add it, and it looks really cool. They add extras and it looks really, really cool. I'm kind of more of a simple colorist in my approach. Again, old fashioned in that way. I like kind of the line art to stand on its own. So I don't want the colors to sort of steal the show. I want them to complement what I've done in the black and white. My last printer was API. Whether or not they will be this time, I don't know. It depends on who can get it done and who can give you the best deal without, you know, someone you actually trust, because you don't want to, you know, you don't want problems. Believe me, I had plenty of those, and some of them were my fault, some of them they weren't, but it delays stuff, and you try to avoid that all the time if you can. So your dear old mother can sleep on a bed made of boxes. I'm not that cruel. Love the texture on the tree in the background. Thank you. Henry Jeremek, you know, I have to say this. I created this character before Gunslinger Spawn was created. It didn't see print, but I have the artwork from the original back in there that was done in 96, which I believe predates Gunslinger Spawn. So, and his hat is like more like a Billy Jack kind of hat than mine is. Mine's more of a Clint Eastwood hat. So, But yeah, I mean, guys dressed in black, great. I know it's not the most original character design, but it's effective. And so, you use it. Characters are very, very different though. Blue Boy, I think that's still perfectly fine. Extra copies beyond order help the creators continue to earn a living. Obviously, exclusive sold as limited is another story. Absolutely. And the limited stuff that I do is almost always signed and numbered, and that's it. Like my sketchbook, my hardcover sketchbook, there's people that still want that. It's gone. It's 750 copies, signed and numbered, limited edition. That is it. And that's all there is. So I might do another book at some point. Oh, I will, but an art book. But that book, that's it. Oh, look at that. Plus, Wraith of God is written way better than Spawn, or maybe has a very similar origin. Actually, do they? I don't know. I've never read Spawn. I mean, I know he's a dead guy, but that's all I know. Wraith isn't dead. Or is he? Moon Knight meets Saul. Yeah, you might be onto something there. That's not a bad comparison there. It's kind of like a little Batman too in there. He's traveling around. He's got his Batcave, but it's his wagon. Esther's his Alfred in a sense. He's a master of science and disguise and all these things that Batman is. So it's got some of those elements in it too. I mean, I steal from everybody. I'm an equal opportunity offender. Okay, so anyway, that's the cover. Let me show you really quickly what I'm doing color-wise. There's not much to show at this point because I'm just started flatting, but I want to give you an idea of how I approach this. Okay, so flatting basically means you go in and trace around the figures and you put in a flat color, right? Now, it doesn't really matter what color you use for anything. I tend to choose the colors that I'm maybe going in that direction. And then you make masks basically of all these different shapes. So you can go in and change the color like that. If you don't save these as, I'm calling them masks. That's not really the right terminology, but if you don't save these as layers, each separate color is a layer. That's really what I want to say. Then if you decide that, let's say I color this whole thing up, I'm completely done with it. And I've made Esther's dress blue. And I think, God, I really want that to be purple. I have to go in and redo the whole thing. But if I've saved what I can just change the color, or I can activate that layer that has her dress on it. And I can change the color without affecting maybe the shading. So this is the pain in the butt process. And generally colorists will hire people to do this when they're doing, especially when they're doing interior pages, to flat for them because it's a very tedious process. And I don't do it on my covers, but like on interior pages, sometimes I will. If I had to do a lot, I've never done a ton. Like the Kit Carter stuff, I would do those once every few months. So it was, but I did have somebody flat some of those once to save myself some time. Usually if my daughter's around, I'll make her do it. I pay her, but flatters, man, they don't, for as tedious as that job is, they don't get paid much. It's like 20, some do it for $15 a page, $20 a page. It's like, and I know it takes time, at least me, it does. Anyway, what I do is I lay in a complete background color. In this case, it's orange. That's kind of my base color. Maybe there's going to be some orange in this nighttime sky. Maybe I'll do a fade with some dark blue up here. I don't know yet. But what that allows me to do is once I do the tree and Esther and the Wraith and then these rocks and the bushes here and that little mountain back there, and those all have their colors in, set, then all what's left is the background. And so then I can just click on that background and change the color until I find something that, I like that's working for me. So anyway, that's kind of my process. Anti-Entity says she's done that. She's been a flatter. So anyway, that's where I'm at. It's like I said, I'm not very far along on it yet, but we got to get there because this has to get done before I can launch the second chance campaign. So anyway, all right, you guys. So that's the art portion of our show. No, it isn't. I'm lying. There's more. I want to show you guys a couple of things that I didn't do, but I don't really have an intro for this, but we're going to take a quick look at some splash pages that I really like. And I think I'm going to make this a regular portion of the show because there's some stuff out there that maybe you've seen, maybe you haven't seen. And so I'm going to share a few of these with you right now. This first one is by Neil Adams. This is it Avengers 96? I think it is. '95. The Inhumans guest starred in that. Obviously, that's Triton, and I just loved this as a kid. That foreshortening, with the hand reaching out and grabbing the dock, the pillar there, coming out of the water. I'm not sure why Triton, who's basically like a Aquaman type character, why he's wearing boots and gloves in the water, but he is. Because you got to have that superhero look no matter where you're hanging out. But that's a killer splash page. And so, yeah, that's Triton from the Inhumans. Neil Adams did 3 issues, 93, 4 issues, 93, 94, 95, and 96 of Avengers. And there's a lot of good pages in there, obviously, that Neil did. But Henry Jeremic, let me grab this. Wraith reminds me of a black version of the old Ghost Rider. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, because that was originally a pitch for a Ghost Rider series at Marvel, a Western Ghost Rider series at Marvel, and they didn't want to do it, so I made it my own character. So there you go. All right, so there's a little Neil Adams. Now check this out. I'll bet a lot of you have not seen this. And this is by my good old friend Mike Plug. This is King Cole number 11. Actually, it was Cole the Destroyer. They switched the title because he lost his throne as he was attacked by people betraying him in his cabinet, if you will. That is a freaking awesome splash page. It's like, this might be one of my, if I could own a splash page, this might be at the very top of the list for me. I loved King Cole when I was a kid. It was my favorite barbarian book. And this is just freaking killer. I mean, it's just killer. And this is back in the old days when the, the lettering and stuff was on the board. I just love this. Oh, Blue Boy, he's confessing. His Thor 150 came back in 92, but it's still really good. I know. It's like you shared that one before, Aaron. You're never going to own it. You're right. I'm not, but oh my gosh. That's a great page. All right. Now this one I almost did. This was actually on eBay back when I was in Florida working at CrossGen, but I think it got up to about $2,000, which would be a steal now, but I didn't have it. Shelley would have never let me get away with that. That's Sal Buscema, but inked by Rudy Nebrez. That's a Tarzan splash page with him like tied up riding a pterodactyl. He's got the reins in his teeth. I've probably shown this one before too, but gosh darn it. I love Rudy Nebrez stuff. That's all brush inking too. He just does his texture. Now, someone complained to me once they didn't like Nebrez because all of his textures look the same. And I was like, yeah, but they're still cool. So the heck with you, pal. Yeah, Henry points out the Cole 11 also has a killer cover, which Plug, when I went to his house, this is in the 90s, he had that cover. He since sold it, but it was hanging on his wall in a frame. And I was like, but the thing with Nebrez is you just gotta, I mean, I know people don't like him, but just look at that brushwork. I mean, are you kidding me? I just really dig it. Now, the thing with Nebrez is his anatomy when he pencils is sometimes fine and other times it's kind of wonky. So when he inks over someone that's really sound like Buscema, John, or Sal, and then just inks what's there and then dresses it up with all this great line work, you really get something special. And that's why I really dig this. And as I mentioned earlier on the John Carter stuff from Marvel, that was penciled and inked by, it was Gil Kane did the penciling and Nebres did the inks. So how about that? All right. One more here. Where is it? Oh, this was a teaser on the title card. But if you don't have this, this is the Treasury edition where Spider-Man and Superman crossed over, done in 1970. Was it 76 or 77? I can't remember. But this is a splash page. And this is Ross Andrew, which I thought at the time was kind of strange. He was the Spider-Man artist, so that made sense. But I was like, but why did they get him to do the the Spider-Man Superman? But he also drew Superman for a stint over at DC. So he basically was maybe the one artist that had drawn both characters and was currently drawing Spider-Man. So maybe it was the logical choice. DC had a relationship with him. Marvel had a relationship with him. The thing is, though, Neil Adams came in over the top and basically redrew a lot of the Superman faces. That is a Neil Adams face on Superman there, inked by Dick Giordano. And I wouldn't be surprised if Neil Adams did some work in this book as well. But the inking's really good. It's a tremendous book. Just an event, truly maybe one of the first really, really huge event books that everybody was looking forward to, right? And they did it as a Treasury edition. So these double page spreads are freaking enormous. So yeah, Henry's backing me up then. Because he went in and he redrew tons of the faces and stuff, and he might have messed around with the anatomy a little bit. And like you said, it may have been Adams actually inking all the Superman figures too, and Giordano inked the rest of it. It's hard to say. One Slick Dude says 76 here, and thank you so much. Now hang on a second. His iron. Oh, you're talking about Nebres' Iron Fist. Yeah, because he did a lot of Iron Fist work in the magazines, the martial art magazines, the black and white magazines that Marvel did. Yeah, it's just a great book. It's now an expensive book, but I mean, you can probably find one beat up for not too much money, and it's worth it because it's really a tremendous, really tremendous event book by the very definition of that. So anyway, okay, that's all the art I got for you today. But now we're moving on. Dare I say bigger or better things? Well, bigger things, because now it's time for my favorite segment of the show. That's a Ken Kelly cover from Creepy Magazine, in case you're interested. I can't remember the number. It's like 80 something, I think. All right. Let's take a look at this Bigfoot stuff and see what I got here. Jimmy Owens dropping in. Thanks for joining us, Jimmy. Appreciate it. John says, I like the old style. Before every single muscle group had to show in costume, they were vacuum sealed into that costume. Yeah, exactly. I used to be one of those guys that just delineated every muscle group. And then I started kind of getting an understanding of how cool it was to kind of show some of the muscle by lighting effects and then leaving other stuff just kind of open. Excuse me. Oh, God, that's embarrassing. So now I tend to gravitate more that direction. I like kind of like detailed areas, usually in your shadow area, and then just like open areas in the back. Kevin Nolan does that a lot too, to great effect. Yeah, I know, but I like the artwork, so that's why I'm using it. Well, of course he is. I realized I lost 60 viewers almost instantaneous. And I'm like, I didn't suddenly get that boring. I mean, I might've been the whole time, but I didn't suddenly get that boring. But anyway, we must move on. So let's take a look at this. And this is by way of an example. I'm going to make a point here. Okay. Now that is a bear sleeping on a picnic table. Okay. Now here's the interesting thing about this bear. he's in focus, right? So why is it whenever people take pictures of wildlife, whether by trail cam or they do their own photography, I'm assuming this was, I don't know if anybody want to get that close to the bear. Maybe this is a trail cam or a cam set up in a campground or something. But look how clear that shot is, right? It's in focus. Okay. Now let's see what happens when we check out trail cam videos of Bigfoot. Now look at this one. This isn't even Bigfoot, but it's so good. And I mean that kind of in a bad way, that we got to look at it. Okay. Does anybody now? So this was like on an Instagram post, right? And they said it started off with Ranger Rick discovered. I mean, not Ranger Rick Johnson from Nevada National Forest, just Ranger Rick. And I was like, okay, that's seriously Ranger Rick took this photograph. And it like showed this guy. I don't even know if he's a ranger, but he had a ranger outfit on. The hat looked like it was photoshopped onto him. Maybe it was just me, but I don't know. I'm not buying this at all. This is a really, I don't know. If you're going to spend that much money on a costume, I would work more on that head, and the ears need work. But yeah, I'm not. I'm not digging this too much. I'm not believing this for a second. But anyway, so I had to show that one because it's so ridiculous. Now this one, I don't actually know if this is any better. I want to believe. Okay, let's take a look at this guy. Is he going to take a whiz in the snow? I mean, what is happening here? This is allegedly a trail cam shot. Now you'll notice it's not in focus, right? Which was kind of the point I was trying to make with the bear. And you saw on the werewolf guy wasn't really all that in focus either. And again, here we have Bigfoot getting ready to whiz, not in focus. So I'm not sure. Oh, I see. Now here comes the apologist. Descadado says it's obviously slightly out of phase with this dimension. Now, this is the interesting thing about this. Okay, this is clearly, in my opinion, a guy in a costume. But now you'll notice when they show what they really try to claim are actual Bigfoot videos. They go, look how long his arms are. The arms are longer than a normal human. It couldn't be a guy in a costume. This guy's not even trying to fake like long arms. My dog is barking because I think Bigfoot may be in the front yard. This is clearly a dude in a suit, right? And then they fuzzed it up because if you saw it clearly, you'd know it was a dude in a suit. Yeah, this is okay. You're saying, Aaron, come on, this has got to get better, right? Actually, I've got some live action video right here. So let me see what you guys think about this. This was taken by, allegedly. Well, I know it was taken by a what do you call those little flying things with cameras on them? You know, those things. $5 Unhinged says, next time you talk to Matt Barr, ask him about his book. Oh, Matt Barr's got a Bigfoot sighting. Okay, this I have to hear. I will. Thank you so much, Unhinged, for the $5. Appreciate that very much. Point blank, I would disagree with you because Harry and the Hendersons actually looks good. That doesn't quite pull it off. Okay, drones, thank you. So this was taken by a drone, and the guy has commentary, which I had to mute because I don't want to get flagged here. All right, so, but keep your eye on the clearings here. There he is. See him walking down here? I just, I see this stuff and I think, and the thing is you can hear the snow crunching under his feet, which led someone to suggest that maybe that guy the Bigfoot was mic'd up because I don't know that you'd be able to hear snow crunching from a drone that's, 50 feet in the air or whatever. Right. Okay. So let's take a look at this again. Okay. And the other thing is This looks like a guy walking. It doesn't look like an animal. You know, he just kind of do. Got to make sure I get that brush out of my way. Just walking along, maybe taking bigger steps than normal, but I don't know. Do animals really? He's walking with a purpose here. He's walking with a purpose, and he's walking right underneath the drone, right? So I don't know. Not buying that one either, but that's at least interesting. Yeah, exactly. Drawing for Fun says, I know I parked around here somewhere. That's kind of what it feels like. Oh, if the snow is crunching, he's wearing boots, says Randy Howell. Marcus is giving us an update. I know I got it on over here. I haven't really not paying attention, but I know Graham Nolan's ticked. His Buffalo Bills got smacked around at home in the snow by the Bengals. I'm liking the Bengals this year. I think I'm feeling the Bengals. Brian says, I've never seen Bigfoot, but I had an encounter with a phantom cow. I've heard of those before. You know, there's a great Steve Gerber written, Frank Bruner illustrated, Howard the Duck fights a vampire cow, and I believe it's in Giant Size Man Thing 4 or 5. One of those two. Corey says, that's how I walk when I'm looking for a place to whiz. So Bigfoot has to go. So all of our Bigfoots have to pee is apparently what's going on, is the theme to this one. All right, now this, I'm not sure what to make of this. I don't even know if this is real, let alone, you know, whether commenting, could this be a bear or a Bigfoot? All right, so this is like, apparently these are like Bigfoot legs or some animal's legs walking in front of the camera. Here we go. I think it moves. Yeah, there we go. This is the slow-mo as it's sort of, yeah, there's a leg there, I suppose, right? And then it kicks leaves over the camera conveniently. So let's watch this again. I mean, if it's real, I don't see why it couldn't be a bear. I mean, you can't see much of anything there. The way the hair is like swirled and combed on it kind of makes me think that maybe that's not real. That's a costume or something. I'm not sure. But if you're going to spend that much money on a costume, you probably want a better shot of it, don't you think? You see that kind of like beehive look to the hair, the way it's like swirled. And the last leg is, I mean, that's okay, but that could be a bear leg, couldn't it? I mean, I don't know. Pretty hard to say. Fun fur. Okay. Is that what we're calling it? Ralph Mack. Bigfoot's marked territory, possibly gang turf wars. Now see, this is our resident cryptozoologist. You Scared Jody. He says, most people won't believe until they have a personal experience, and even then they'll keep quiet because people will say you are crazy, like me. I never called anybody crazy. I've called people being maybe not honest, but never crazy. Jimmy Owen says, so you're saying Bigfoot doesn't have style? I could be saying that. Okay, now here we've got, and this is the other thing that I bring up to our cryptozoologists, that none of these are the same, right? You don't see any consistency between these Bigfoot videos, right? And it's like, if they're a species of animal or whatever, they would be similar, like black bears or brown bears or things like that. And they're not at all. So it just leads me to believe that everybody, maybe one person's not making it up, but everybody else is. Because they're not following any sort of consistency and template. And here's an interesting example here. This is a trail cam photo of a foot. Okay, blurry, of course. But look at the toes. The toes are all exactly the same. So that wouldn't be a monkey foot. And again, who knows what Bigfoot allegedly is supposed to be or not supposed to be. But I find that kind of interesting that all the toes look like they're the same. I would say it's not a bad photo, except the toes look kind of fakey to me. But the thing is, it's so blurry, we can't really tell what that foot actually would look like if it was in sharp focus. So it might look really terrible. I mean, it might be a guy with just a stick, you know, and they made like a Bigfoot boot thing and put a stick on it and held it in front of the camera. I have no idea. Or it could have been fake. It could have been just, you know, someone put it in Photoshop, which is probably more than likely, because that would be much easier than, you know, hiring someone to make a fake foot and put it in front of a camera. Interesting point here. If they can keep Hitler's brain alive in a robot gorilla his body, then anything is possible. I think you might be onto something there. Look at Gray Wolf Graphics says that's a bear's foot. Really? Is that what their feet look like? Again, maybe it is. You know, you can't really tell much because it's so fuzzy. Good point. If one is real, it doesn't mean any of the other or the rest are. Exactly. Marcus Killer says, give Graham a steak and he'll get over the Bills' loss. Evil one. Most people are crazy. Look at the elected president. Oh, my goodness. Is Jimmy Reyes here? There he is. Speaking Spanish on here. I do know what that means. Hola, amigos. That's hello, friends, right? Look at that. I'm so Spanish. Thanks for joining us, Jimmy. We're looking at Bigfoot videos. Bears have paws and have claws. Well, again, there could be claws on there. We just can't see them because it's so fuzzy. Oh, look at this. Gray Wolf says bear feet very strongly resemble human feet. Look at that. We have a bear argument going on in the chat. I am not an expert on this. I have no idea. I just know that I don't believe it. It may, I think maybe a lot of things, but it ain't Bigfoot. I don't think. Not to disparage Who Scared Jody, or Someone Scared Jody. All right, now look at this. This seems to me to be, actually looks pretty good, but I'm not, you know, come on. This is a trail cam photo, supposedly. Again, blurry, but that's a heck of a mask, or if that was, maybe it's created in Photoshop possibly or something. I have no idea. And here's the point on this one. This was posted on social media, but whoever posted it didn't give their name. Okay. So you're not going to take credit for it. It's hard for us to kind of accept the reality of this, but I do say it looks cool. And if I saw a Bigfoot that looked like that, I'd be scared to death and I'd get the heck out of there fast. I can tell you that. Yeah, there you go. Maddie Dubs says, real or not, that looks cool as you know what. It does. Anti-Entity, she's not in the Bigfoot is flesh and blood camp. I'm not either. I don't. I wanted to believe as a kid, but I just, come on. We would have definitive evidence at this point. If you can get a giant squid on a camera, you know, in the ocean, you can get Bigfoot in the woods. Look at that. I know. Can you imagine? You turn around and you're like, holy crap, that's real. I'm out of here. Oh, here we go. No, that's just stock footage from Burning Man. See how easily fooled we are as public? I assume you're being truthful. I don't know. That may be a joke, but it may be truthful. Was that in Burning Man? Oh, maybe I'll go watch that movie. That's pretty creepy. I like that. Well, no, I mean, but you got to find, come on, no skeletal remains, never actually a clear shot. I mean, come on, we can get clear shots of bears and we can get clear shots of coyotes and we can, like I said, giant squids under the ocean. How can we not get some concrete evidence of this thing if he existed? That's my biggest complaint. All right, one more for the road. I'm not buying this one either, but this is another alleged trail cam shot. Looks to me like a dude and his buddy in a suit. Again, you have the short arms, regular man arms, padded suit probably. Looks like he's got a visor up there to keep the sun out of his eyes. But of course, again, we're shooting from behind the creature instead of in the front, so we can get a good shot of his face. And I love the little information there. Information. He is at a camp about a mile from this location. What location? They never tell you where it's at. I'm looking at the bottom of those feet and I'm saying, are those rubber-soled tennis shoes he has under there? I don't know. Common Thomas says, we put a man on the moon, but we can't find a man in the woods. John F. Kennedy. I think Kennedy did say that. Again, that's just Kelsey. That's 100% digital. You guys are on it, man. And then, of course, Vic going next level. Imagine the power if you splice their DNA with man. Dun, dun, dun. Photoshop. Yeah, Bigfoot would have had to have kids by now if Sasquatches were still, you'd think. Evil One, horrible digital art. Everybody's going digital on this one. More Kelsey, poor Kelsey. Point Blank says Oprah has had plenty of fakes on her show. You'll have to do better than that. Okay. Well, I'm glad to see as my audience dwindles as Ethan skims more and more off the top from me. You loyalists, I appreciate you staying here. And I know people will come back and watch in reruns, so we'll live. Okay, now let's get to some reality. Things that can eat you. Big things that can eat you. This isn't a regular segment in the show, but I did want to visit these. We did this a little bit last week, and there's a couple things I do want to visit. This is interesting. I'm sure most of you have seen this. This is the video of Deep Blue, the largest great white shark ever filmed. It's a 20-footer, 25, 3 tons of them. That's a big freaking shark. Pregnant too at the time this was filmed, which was now like maybe 10 years ago. Here's the dude that filmed him, who got out of the cage. It's like, are you crazy? Now this was originally, I believe, they found the shark in Mexico, and then it showed up someplace else, like maybe Hawaii or something. A couple of years later. Let's take a look at that again, just because I love it. So yeah, they're estimating this thing at 20 feet. Now, the largest one ever caught was 23 feet, something, allegedly. But that makes you think that, well, certainly we're not going to be fortunate enough to catch the largest one that ever was. So maybe there's a 25-footer out there just waiting for you. So anyway, there's a Deep Blue. That is the largest great white shark that we have photographic evidence of. And now, see, I believe that's real. I'm buying that, baby. All right, now it's unfortunately Shelley can't be here for this because this would bring back memories for her. Not good ones, though. This is our good friend. Oops. This is the lion's mane jellyfish. And the tentacles on these monsters can get to be 120 feet long. The one that he filmed here, first shot there, this one was a 50-footer. Now, they're not deadly, but they can sting you and hurt you, but their stings aren't deadly to man, apparently, which is nice to know if you ever run in one of these monstrosities. So that's a 50-footer. And like I said, they can get up to 120 feet long, which is greater than the length of a blue whale. That's there. There's a little graphic right there with the blue whale. And there's Roger the kangaroo, which is another story for another time. And I got one more. Now, Shelley will be glad she's not here to witness this, but we do have to address this because This is a reticulated python. Now these suckers, they can get to 30. Well, the biggest they've ever caught is 32 feet, 9.5 inches. 32 feet, 9.5 inches. Their general length, 20 to 25 feet, from what they've discovered, whoever they are. But they can get up to 32, well, at least one of them did. So you assume if one of them got that big, there's probably another one out there that's that big or bigger. Yikes. Now they made that movie with, what was his name? Anaconda. That was a pretty big one. But the anacondas apparently do not get as big as these reticulated pythons. So when you're going big, if you want to go way big, you're going python, reticulated python. Gray Wolf says that is nearly as long as this house is wide. They say there's something huge swimming out in the Gulf of California. That wouldn't surprise me. You know, when I lived in LA in the 80s, late 80s, when I was in film school down there, I remember a news story where somebody it wasn't a boa, obviously. It had to have been a python or an anaconda, probably a python. Guy, I don't know how, I'm trying to remember. Somebody had it as a pet or something, but I can't imagine because it was so freaking big. But it got underneath somebody else's house, right? And they had these animal rescue guys taking it, and they pulled it out of the house, and it was the entire length of the house, the side of the house, living under this guy's. You know, it's just like, gee, many Christmas, don't let your kids play in the backyard, you know. But who? I can't imagine that someone had, because the thing was probably close to 20 feet long, so it was kind of like, who had a snake that big? How could you handle something like that if you didn't have a professional facility? And I don't think it escaped from like some like an authorized place. I think it was somebody had it, you know, probably illegally, and it got out. And boy, if that had eaten anybody, guess what you're responsible for? Yeah. So don't have giant snakes as pets. It doesn't seem to be real safe. We've seen monkeys rip people's faces and hands off. Snakes get out and eat children or something, and dogs. It's just like, just stick to the normal pets. I think we'll all be a lot safer. Marcus says, I watched the show where they catch pythons in the Everglades. Do they eat them? What do they do when they catch them? Julie says she likes snakes, but reticulated pythons and anacondas are both aggressive. Yeah, and when you're that big, you don't want an aggressive snake, you know, because it's going to get aggressive on you, and then you're the one who gets eaten. Vic, for another $2. Thank you, Vic. We should use snakes and jellyfish to extinguish people. It may already be happening. Oh, my goodness. Thank you for the $2, Vic. Appreciate it. Drawing from, hey, you guys, I'm lost. You haven't seen any naked couple eating an apple around here, have you? Can you imagine? Well, you know, I'm sure you guys have seen videos like in India or whatever with these things like, and guys' feet hanging out of their mouths or stuff. I assume they're real, but you got to believe that happens. It's probably not a regular occurrence, but you got to believe it happens. Eric Boyd's with me. People trying to make pets out of wild animals always bother me. It does, because those wild animals can snap like that. And when they do, your history, your friends are history, your neighbors are history. I just don't get it. Gray Wolf says, it's bad enough we have cottonmouth water moccasins and timber rattlers here in Tennessee. Oh, look at that. Gray Wolf is from Tennessee. That's where the race story takes place. Shelley's out there chatting with somebody. I don't know why she doesn't come in and say hi. Okay, well, that's a true statement, but I don't want to be the people that are, you know, groundbreaking the new domestic animals. You know what I'm saying? Evil One for $2 says, my snake is really aggressive. That's why I beat it. Jeez. Wah, wah, wah. Blue Boy's taking shots at Dan Slott. I'm not going to put that up, but you can read it in the chat. Here we go. Marcus says, Looks like San Francisco spanked Dallas. So Andy Smith isn't happy tonight. The state of Florida gives them cash for the snakes he uses. Let me try that again. The state of Florida gives them cash for the snakes he used. They have destroyed all the animal life in the glades. Oh, because the snakes have destroyed all the animal life in the Everglades. I gotcha. For another $2, Vic says, "Thank you again, Vic. Appreciate it. I'm bringing a jellyfish for the fans, so don't go. Just as a warning." Okay. Getting me on a plane cross country these days is it might be a chore. We'll see. I might rally for that. I don't know. I mean, foxes have sharp teeth. I guess if they're rabies free, I know people that take, that have foxes as pets, but dang, I mean, my dog has sharp teeth, but I mean, they have like those little razor fangs on those things. I don't think so. They're a nice looking animal, though. Oh my gosh, we need a few thousand of these pythons in the Rio Grande, right? Well, I guess I'd control illegal immigration, right? Vic's like, come on, Gray Wolf, be nice. Jeff Potts, I went away for a bit. Why is there a picture of a huge snake on the screen? Because that is a reticulated python, the largest snake in the world, Jeff, that can grow up to 32 feet and 9.5 inches. At least that's the biggest one they've ever caught. So how about that? Well, guys, it's 6:45 Pacific time. Normally, if Shelley was here, we would go ahead and do Shelley Knows, but Shelley's not here, so I can't really tell you what Shelley knows. But I did want to end the show on some big things that can eat you. And I think we should always keep that stuff in mind, that there's always big things out there that are willing to eat you. So be careful as you traverse the wilderness, wherever that may be where you live. We have bears, we have bobcats, we have mountain lions roaming the areas in Oregon. So it's like, and we got coyotes. I got coyotes running through my neighborhood now. What's going on, man? She might know too much, but we'll save it for next week when she's feeling better and can come on. But anyway, I want to remind everybody that a couple of things. One is that tomorrow night, Comicsgate Kings, I guess Ethan's streaming right now. And Tuesday will be the professionals. Graham is hosting. Not sure what he has in mind, but I'm sure it's something fun. Wednesday is my new show with David Williams and Kelsey Shannon, also known as Sasquatch. The best draw, if I do say so myself, it's the best draw stream on the internet. It's called Graybeard's Studio. I think we're going a half hour early because I have an appointment at 3:30 Pacific time. I want to make sure that we can do the whole show, and I still have time to get to my doctor's appointment. Doctor's appointments. Ugh. But anyway, so we're probably going at 12:30 Pacific time. The poll goes up tomorrow on Twitter for what we're going to draw. And this is going to be our losers stream because we're on it. No, we're going to take second place finishers in all the polls that we've done this month so far. Johnny Quest, Edgar Rice Burroughs, and Ditkoverse. We'll be drawing from one of those three. Those will be the three choices you have. So make sure you run over to my Twitter page tomorrow or Tuesday to vote on which you'd like to see us draw, or at least from what category you'd like to see us draw. And then, of course, on Saturday at 4 o'clock, it's going to be Comic Art Convo with me and Sequential Treasures. And we're going to discuss our three favorite episodes of Star Trek, the original series, and then also our least favorite. So I do have a least favorite. I'm not saying it's the worst episode. I'm just saying it's my least favorite. And picking three of I got a lot of favorites. Pick my three is going to be tough, but I will do that. So that's what we got going on. Marcus Killigrew says, I'd have to join Twitter to vote. Well, just join Twitter and vote and then get out of there. I mean, it's a very, very dangerous, horrible place. I agree, but I got to live there. So actually I live there as infrequently as possible. Oh, there we go. Aaron Lepresti and I have some surprises planned too. James going to have to remind me what the surprises are, but I know we do. He always has stuff cooking for that show. It's always a really good show. So you want to check that out. Anyway, thank you guys all for joining me. We had a huge show going on until Ethan stole half my audience, but that's the way it goes, man. He's the ratings king, and I'm just clawing my way up. But I appreciate you guys sticking with us and joining us. Joining me, Shelley in spirit, and hanging out for a while. It's a fun conversation. We got to look at some art, got to look at some big monsters and some real ones. So thank you all. Appreciate it. We couldn't do it if you weren't showing up here to hang out with us. And so have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, what's left of it, and be safe. And we will see you guys all very soon. Thanks.